What Mustang? What is Jesse doing?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Stream Key podcast. We finally got up and running, and today, as you can tell, is a very, very patriotic episode. We have some of the most well-branded people in the entire True fam here today. Can you even tell which one is which? They look very similar right now.
Same names. Just all America.
Yep. We have two Americas here on the podcast today. Excited to interview America twice. So SnoopHog is our special guest, though. Welcome to the show, SnoopHog. You've been on before, but first time on the call-in show as a guest. So welcome. How you doing today?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing well.
Nice,
I'm
man.
excited.
Did you manage to get up on time?
I did just in time to make sure that we were late.
No, it's all good. For anyone wondering, apparently getting the GoPro to work with Skype can be tricky, so FYI. Also, of course, constant co-host SnoopHogTV, back on here, the other half of America with us today.
What up?
I titled the
best
stream.
Part.
Yeah, the stream is like North versus South today, because there was this whole Civil War event that they had recently, which I want to unpack since they're both here today. But if you guys haven't seen the show before, basically it's all about stream-related topics. If you're a streamer, improving as a streamer, and the Friday episodes are call-in shows or viewer shows. So if you have a question about streaming, you can call in via Discord to ask that on air about whatever it is you'd like to talk about. And we'll talk about that with you. It could be a question. It could be a take on something. It could be that you hate America and you want to get in a fist fight with these guys. You never know. You never know.
Better not be.
It's all fair game. But that's your decision. I wouldn't do it. But anyway, you can do that. You can also ask questions, as always, in the chat or Discord by tagging us, and we'll get to you that way if you can't get on to a phone or app or whatever right now. But guys, happy to have you back on here again. How'd your past week on your own streams? I'm going to kind of make that a new thing on this show on Fridays. So basically, Snoop, how's your past week's stream, man? How's it been?
It's been really good. It's been awesome. I have had a lot of community, not growth. I mean, it is growth, but we have encircled and enveloped more communities all intertwining with each other, which is always awesome. So this way we've been able to kind of send the spider webs out different ways to where we're able to send love over to people, and we're able to keep people all in the same circle, which is
nice. So lots of intermingling with communities and stuff.
There you go, intermingling.
Something like that.
Green's the smart one, chat.
That's why they pay him the big bucks.
Exactly.
I don't know about that. No, that's
New
cool.
juicy topic to talk about.
Oh yeah, let's bring up a salary here, shall we? Starting the show off well. So Snoop, I guess True would be one of those communities. Do you want to talk about any of those other communities by chance, or?
So True is definitely one of those communities, and then recently I joined a stream team, as did SnoopHogTV.
Oh yeah.
Claps in the chat for Snoop.
I hate you. It is Dynasty Gaming, so it's DIENAST
Right.
Gaming, and it's run by a couple of phenomenal, awesome people. A lot of their management is also True fam, so it's definitely an intertwined thing, which is pretty awesome.
Right.
Speaking of, in the chat, hi Dynasty.
It's funny. Susie. I just found out about them, and I hopped in there and was like, I know like 70% of the people in here. And I went to the role assignment channel and was like, this looks really familiar. Where did they get this? But no, it is a cool community. I like it. I'm excited to see where it goes moving forward. But so Vel, you want to talk about your week as well? I guess some of that is an overlap with you too.
Yeah. So I, over the course of last week when I was on vacation, I was asked to join the team as well for Dynasty Gaming, the stream team. And I'm not good enough to play on an actual team for esports or anything. But and I wouldn't want to, because then I'd be strictly like playing one game. But anyway, so this week I've been playing Ion all week, Islands of Nine, and it's been going crazy well. I got rated by a partnered streamer the other day, or yesterday. Yep, yesterday. And just been getting a lot of support for that game, which is cool. So, and I'm really liking it. I'm probably about as addicted to Islands of Nine as I was at like CS:GO.
Yeah. Do you Yeah, it looks. I've been watching some of it too. It looks really cool. Do you you think it's good for streaming in general? Like any?
I think so. I think it's a little bit more entertaining than like CS:GO. Obviously, CS:GO is kind of boring and slow paced, but this game is like, it's like a typical battle royale. But like, it's like PUBG, faster paced with a little bit more, stuff going on.
Sure. Yeah, and there's all the battle royales coming out now. So, is there like any specific reason you think that Ion's nice for streamers over the others? Just random question.
I think so, just because like the only other real good one right now is Fortnite. PUBG is kind of dying off, and I don't really like PUBG, to be honest. And I really like realistic style shooters, and I just don't really care for that one. I don't think it's very clean. This one is a really clean shooter and very fast paced, and there's no building, so huge plus.
True, yeah, and not quite as saturated. That's important.
Right.
So,
right.
Awesome. So I'd just like to recap on that. Go ahead.
Ion is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's fast paced. You're not sitting around waiting 14 years for a game, and it's good for content, in my opinion, for the sheer fact that like PUBG, you sit in, you could not see somebody for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then you're like,
so annoying.
Ion, if you're 5 minutes without seeing somebody, it's a long time. And if a match lasts more than 20, 25 minutes, it's a long match.
Right. Are you playing? Yeah, I could not do that. I don't know how you guys do that.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Have you been playing that as well, Snoop, Ion?
A little bit here and there. I dabble. I don't play too many BR games on stream or competitive games because I get super triggered real easily.
Sure.
So I tried to do Overwatch placements the other night. Mind you, I never played Season 9. I made it through 2 of them. Then we stopped.
Yeah, I have not been Overwatch in a bit myself, so I can imagine.
That's a whole nother. I could do a whole podcast on how broken Overwatch is.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, if you guys have questions for Snoop, Velok, myself, or just any questions in general for anyone about streaming, maybe you want help with subscriber perks or something, or you have questions about streaming a certain game, how to grow in a certain directory, how to use a social media, whatever. This is the time to ask any sort of question you have, and we will answer it and help you think through it or debate it with you even. You can do that in the chat by tagging at GreenChord so I see it, or you can join our Discord and either put a question there or join the actual voice call and come on the show, which if you do that, you get priority. Just saying. You get to the top of the list. So, but while we're waiting for people to kind of submit those questions, I wanted to talk to you guys about the event you guys recently did, which is the Civil War event, basically, because as you guys can see who are watching the stream right now, there's a whole lot of America here. So these guys recently had a Civil War event, and I'll kind of let you guys explain what that was.
All right. So I like to do charity every couple months for 2 reasons. One, I like to avoid charity. If you do a charity every couple weeks or every month, I tend to find that not so much that your turnout is less or that you see any less support, but I don't want to constantly make the community feel like they have to give money and feel obligated that way, because I know how it is to go into a charity stream and you're like, oh man, it's awesome when people retweet stuff out and stuff like that, but you try to avoid fatiguing them and forcing them to donate money that they might not have, or feeling like they can't come into the stream because they don't have money to donate or any of that. But so I always try to do military related charities. So May I did Stack Up. So this past July I wanted to do Operation Supply Drop because it was the 4th of July and all of America. I was like, I'll do one over a couple days for Operation Supply Drop. And then I had an idea. I had the most working guy up there above me right now. But actually, it was your fault, Green. When you did my sponsored streamer announcement, you put how me and Velok go head-to-head for most American or something along those lines.
It's true.
And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. I was like, let me reach out to Vel and see if we can both set up a way for our communities to kind of have a civil war. And
obviously I said no.
Yeah, exactly. He's like
and ended there.
A secret communist, and I don't like America. Confirmed, chat. But yeah, so we ended up we were trying to find a way to draw in the community on some kind of an open game, which is dropping servers now that you can use, of course. But anyway, that's beyond the point. So the problem we ran into is it was kind of short notice. I kind of thought of the idea way late towards July. So I wanted to be able to drop the hype as much as I could to build up as much hype and gain as much money for the charity as we could. So we decided to just do a head-to-head numbers battle over, which community ended up gaining more money. And, we were able to bring in a few of our community members on both sides to help us earn money for charity, which was awesome. And I think in total between the two of us, we did 775 ish
Something like that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
for Operation Supply Drop in 3 days. So it was awesome.
I don't
With
know,
really
this is-
short notice too.
Yeah, I don't know it was that much. That's awesome. How do you guys feel like it went overall? Like, would you consider doing it again? Do you think it's a good
Hell
thing
yeah.
for people to look at?
I think with more, I mean, we, not that we, just threw it together, because there was obviously planning that went into it. And, we made promo videos for it and stuff like that, which were awesome. And
That's so
it
cool.
really fired up the communities. But
Yeah.
the other great thing about it is, from a streaming aspect, obviously, yes, the main goal here is to raise as much money for charity. And if you go into a charity stream with any other, if you have any other reason behind a charity stream other than to raise the money for the charity, if you're looking for personal growth and that's your main goal, then you're doing it for the wrong reason and it's probably not going to be successful.
Right.
But there's a caveat to that. You will see growth, even if it's not intentional, off of a charity stream, especially when you intermingle communities like this. So I played Veli's video on my channel, and Veli played my video on his channel. And it was kind of like a smack talk type deal. Veli's was very F your community, and mine was very mine was very WWE promo-ish style.
I was
Yours
a
was
little,
kind of like Illuminati almost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine was more like, I've had way too many beers while making this video, and I was just like, I'm gonna talk some shit.
Your video. So I wasn't in your chat when you first played my video, but when I first played your video, it worked so well to get people fired up. And that was the idea behind it, because people were like, no, there's no way this guy's winning. Who is this guy? I had people, I was like, all right, guys, you got to calm down. There's TOS here, I was like, he's not a bad guy here. Take a breath.
Like,
But
who's
it
this
got-
fucking asshole?
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about us. But I wanted, man. I wanted to
It got
fire you
people
guys up.
fired up to,
Yeah.
really push and try to win it. Which was awesome, but it also gave me a chance to really get, Vel's stream out there, because I love Vel's stream. Vel's been a huge inspiration on my end. So it's awesome to be able to have that double-edged sword where we could earn a lot of money for charity, and we can push people towards Vel's content and people towards my content. And like I said, you spread the intermingling of the community.
Right. Yeah. So there's growth involved there, but it's not like the main goal of the charity stream.
Exactly.
It's a
The
secondary.
initial
thing.
idea was charity, for sure.
Right. Yeah. I think it's important to have there so that you are like morally sound in your charity streams.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely want to make sure you're like authentic and sincere with everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, the two communities together, like, obviously, like, you're gonna get growth out of that. But the main idea behind that, I think, in Snoop's eyes was, like, that's the perfect way to hype it up. Is like, here's Vel's community, kind of like mine, because like we're both America streamers. Let's fight about it, and then it'll just get people hyped up for the charity event.
Yeah.
It was really cool, really good idea.
That's so cool. I'll be curious to see how other people do it, because when you guys have a very special brand with your channels where it's really America focused and just worked out super well. But I think other people could do this without, it doesn't have to be America themed battle or something, but you could do some sort of other, maybe you guys are both Overwatch streamers, or maybe you have similar characters if you're character streamers or something. Like, those are examples of ways you can do that. So
I think most people are inherently competitive. I think it's just natural, even if it's only a little bit.
right.
So when you feel strongly about being a part of a community, like when True does charity, I'm always more willing to, for some reason, and not that I'm not willing to donate charity to, whoever's doing it, but I'm always more willing to shell out more for True, just because I want to see it be a successful thing. And that was even prior to my sponsorship or any involvement like that. It's just always awesome to see the community that you're behind succeed.
Right.
So now you turn that into a competition,
Man.
and it can really, really bolster stuff if it's done right. And you can really, really, in 3 days we raised $775, which is absurd to me.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely insane, dude.
That's so cool. Yeah, I think competition is a really cool aspect to that too. That's a good, because that's not that present in most charity streams, I would say. So introducing it is a cool way to make it happen and make it a little bit better. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were never really toxic about it. No, I'm kidding.
not that toxic.
but we made it a point, like, even at the end of it, we both said it, and I watched him say it, and I said it, that, at the end of the day, yes, it was a competition, and yes, we joke around about who won, who lost, but at the end of the day, our main goal was charity, and
Sure.
that's who won the most out of everything. So
Right.
Can't wait to talk shit about your community again, though. It's gonna be great.
It's coming, regardless of the charity
I mean,
stream.
you gotta make up for losing, but
Oh, okay. All right.
Wait, was there a winner? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
It was definitely
Yeah.
Snoop. It was definitely Snoop. Well, because like the thing was like I didn't even think about this. My video attacked me more than anything.
Really?
Like, so he shows his video first on the stream, and then everybody's like, "Well, fuck this guy," and like, so everybody's like, "We need to donate as much money as possible." There's no way this asshole can win. Like, that's exactly what happened. Like,
yeah, he kind of.
Snoop came in like a mob boss, just like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna win or whatever. And like I come in there, I'm like, who do you think you fucking are? Like, and then all these people are like, oh my god, we cannot let Vel win this at all. And then so my video totally reversed what I wanted it to do.
I mean,
but...
I'm not gonna lie, Val. I stole some of your community for that.
Oh gosh,
you definitely did.
all
you
part
definitely
of
did.
Snoop's master plan over here, just to leech all of Vel's viewers. Oh gosh.
Oh my
man.
god.
Well, that's
great.
an awesome discussion. Thanks for talking about that, and I think
Yeah.
people can hopefully learn from that. We did have a question from Eshnet a little while back here. He said, "What's the top game that you guys are the most hyped for?" So each of you guys, maybe Vel first. Do you have like a certain game you're super waiting for to stream coming out?
I'm really excited to keep playing more Ion, to be honest. But aside from that, the only game that I can really like consistently say that I'm excited to stream is God of War, which I know has already been out, and I know a lot of people already streamed it, and most people know about it and everything. But it's one of those games where I wanted to wait a little bit, hopefully eventually get a PS4 and then stream it after the hype has kind of died down a little bit.
Sure.
And it's a game that I've just been really wanting to play so bad.
Nice. Yeah. Snoop, anything about you?
So I mean, way down the line, Cyber.
Oh, yeah.
Cannot wait for Cyberpunk. It is like ridiculous. I mean, like super close. Probably 76 or Anthem though. Fallout 76 is going to be. It's either going to be complete trash or it's going to be amazing.
And I feel like Anthem's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bethesda doesn't do anything in between, so it's either going to be amazing or it's going to be trash.
Yeah.
We've been going through the Bethesda games on the True channel, and there have been some moments that were kind of questionable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I think it sounds like Vel's pretty excited for Cyberpunk as well.
Yes, I'm very excited. I really love what CD Projekt Red does. I loved The Witcher 3. Never completed it because it took me like 60 or 70 hours to get to where I was. And then by then I was like, I need to play something else. And so I just kind of dropped it. But it's a great game. They do really good stuff. And I'm very excited for that game.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really excited for that one too. My other two ones would be Ori and the Blind Forest 2 or Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And then Kingdom Hearts 3. Finally, after a decade.
Yes, I forgot about Kingdom Hearts 3 because it's still so far away.
Yeah, it keeps getting
I'm definitely
further and
excited
further.
for that.
Yeah? Are you a Kingdom Hearts player?
I do. I love Kingdom Hearts. I gotta replay it soon because I haven't played it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I watch so many people that do like. There's people that are doing full bore Kingdom Hearts playthroughs of like every single Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah, it's great. The people build their entire channels around that. So, like, I want to stream it, but at the same time, like, why would anybody watch me over this guy's been playing Kingdom Hearts for 3 years on stream?
Well, like, what's her name? I watch all the time. Keyblade Sarah has.
Yeah, exactly.
She's easily probably the biggest Kingdom Hearts streamer in my opinion. Her entire channel is just
a Keyblade Sarah, right? It's right there. Yeah, but either way, it's a very great game that I'm excited for, or I hope it will be a great game. So Angry Gringa has a question in the chat. Always has some awesome questions, so thank you, Gringa. And I said her name right for once.
There you
Said, I have a very boring question. I would like to know a little bit more on the business side of Twitch. Can you cover best practices on the income side of things? As a new affiliate, I'm trying to understand the payments and how they work. I know there's like a 45-day hold on earnings. How do you guys handle the income and tax holds? So this is like a
75-day hold.
Is it? Well,
No,
I think
no,
they reduced it recently.
No, it was a 90-day hold, but they reduced it by 15 days.
No, it's down to 45. I get paid every 45 now. You should get paid the 15th of every month after the first month of earning.
I thought it was because it used to be.
It's the same as they dropped it to the same as partners now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
When they announced sub badges that we still don't have.
There you go.
Well,
so 45 days.
Sure. Well, so for you guys, do you guys have any sort of like methods or like a structure to how you guys deal with your income? Like maybe Snoop, do you have, every day on this month is my tax day or something, or like I put all my income statements into here or something? Like, what do you guys do with that kind of stuff?
So it's gonna vary state by state, but I spoke to my accountant about it because again, I'm not a legal person. I'm not a tax person, so don't take my word as gospel. This is my opinion. So if you get banged on taxes, you can't blame me.
Snoop said, okay.
Yeah, this guy I watch on Twitch said I don't have to pay taxes. No. So I believe it's a $10,000 threshold. Again, chat, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure there's somebody out there that knows way better than I do.
Also.
Yes, absolutely.
We need to know this.
But I believe it's a $10,000 threshold. It's just like gambling, essentially. You only have to claim anything over 10. Okay. Now, I could be completely wrong, and it could vary state by state, but at least here, I believe it's around that. At the same time, pay attention to your trends, because I started putting money aside because of the trends that it has been taking monthly. If you think you're going to break that threshold, leave it alone. Make sure that you put away. My accountant told me 30%. Because he said 30% just to be safe, so you're covered on Fed and state. Because a lot of the problem, people read and they'll withhold 20%, which is great. That'll cover you federally, and then your state's going to come at you and say, oh, well, you owe us $1,000. Again, I live in Connecticut, so we're taxed to death. It could be very different in other parts of the country, depending on your state taxes. But 30% tends to be the rule of thumb. And then this way, think about it just like in tax season. If you file your taxes, you don't owe, then you have an extra, savings. Me personally, I don't really touch my Twitch money unless it's going towards streaming stuff. That is a dedicated fund to either buy games or new equipment or giveaway stuff like that, and I limit that to a very finite amount of money because I use it almost as a second savings.
Do you write this stuff on your taxes?
So this will be the first year because I didn't get affiliate until January. So I've only really been doing this since the middle of December. So it'll be interesting to see when I sit down with my accountant. I got to give him a call again because when I first talked to him, it was a few months into it.
Sure.
And I had hit that $100 threshold, and I called him, and I was like, he's like, please don't call me again for $100. He's like, you're an idiot. I was like, all right, thanks. I'll talk to you later. But he's like, call me back if it starts garnering actual money. He's like, and then, something that you find to be significant. Well, I mean, he's a numbers guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to beat around the bush. He's
so
like,
funny.
when you start making your paycheck streaming video games, because he's also, in his 50s. So he's like, you're an idiot the second I picked up the phone and said what I did. He's like, that doesn't make any sense. He's like, this generation's dumb. I got to go. But make a lot of money.
I know there's like some different feelings on it, basically, in terms of writing out taxes and how much you should hold. Vel, do you have what are your kind of thoughts around this in terms of income and taxes?
I'm not sure. I mean, honestly, I got something from Twitch last year, like their form of a W-2. It's some other form. I can't remember exactly what it is. And that just showed the amount of earnings that I had, and then they took it out of my taxes on that. So they just used that when I went to H&R Block. So
okay.
Yeah, it was easy. I had to pay because I think because it's a separate form, it costs like $280 or something like that, at least in the state of Michigan. To even like file that one, so that's why I owed on that one. But because at the time, I didn't, So I owed a little bit on that one.
Gotcha.
H&R. My only thing with H&R Block, this is totally. We're gonna segue a little bit. The problem is they're all like brand new junior CPAs who aren't. They're up on tax law, but they're not up on the ways to work around it, work within the system. So. Like when I did talk to my accountant about it and we got past him, breaking stones and whatever, we got down to the nitty gritty. He's like, listen, if you really do start to make an income, something where you're going to see deduction, he's like, and you're going to be taxed on it. He's like, we can start deducting. He's like, everything that goes into what you do for earning, you can write off on your taxes. So if you have to buy the PC, receipts for the games you bought, he said, even if like Comic-Con, TwitchCon this year, he's like, write it off. He goes, it's a business expense. You're going there to network. You're not going there for, whatever reason, but he's like, anything like that. He's like, your audio setup, anything you've bought within the year for the stream, if you're earning money on it and you're paying taxes on it, you can deduct that. So keep a list, because I mean, it really does. If you start to see significant amounts of money on a regular basis, I'm not talking like you get one good month where somebody jumps in there and you find some crazy guy who drops an enormous amount of bits in your channel, or stuff like that. I'm talking a consistent basis of high income, high sub counts, stuff like that. Then really start to pay attention to that kind of stuff, because I don't think it's talked about enough. And I've watched Dr. Lupo was the one who actually kind of turned me on to, because it was tax season. He was talking about it and how much he hates it as you're technically your own business when you're that big and this is your full-time job. So there's a lot that goes into it. But he's like, I write everything. I write keyboards, giveaways, the whole 9 yards. It's part of the channel.
Hey, Snoop, you're cutting out a little bit, just so you know. Either like lower the threshold or move your mic a little bit closer, if I help. But yeah, I think writing off stuff is one of those things that, to be honest, like I still need to look into a little bit more. But it is a really powerful way to just, probably something people aren't using too much with Twitch. If you're making like a significant amount of money on Twitch, and significant is sort of up to you what that means, but you could probably write off some things for your stream if you're, pretty much everybody out there is buying something for their stream, whether it's like PC hardware or lighting, green screens, even giveaway stuff. Like, it's probably something you can write off there. So, but great question, Gringa. Thank you for that one. I appreciate that. So GamerDad is waiting in the Discord, and I think he wants to talk about variety streamers and single game streamers. So let's bring him in here really quick. GamerDad, you there, my friend?
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. So the second topic you brought up, you want to talk about that some?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Being that both of you guys play different games throughout your week, like on your schedule, I wanted to kind of get your opinion on, with a variety streamer, changing up the game midstream or changing up the content midstream versus changing it day to day. Like Veli's been playing Ion all week, but playing Ion for the first hour and then jumping into Fortnite after that. Like, I've heard other people talk about losing viewership that way, gaining viewership that way. Wanted to kind of get your all's opinion.
That's a really good topic. So basically, the pros and cons of each one, changing midstream versus changing each day to be a different thing.
Right.
Yeah. So you guys are both variety, correct? Did you guys?
I mean, it's weird putting a label on it.
Yeah.
Because like I like to stick to like one or two main games, and then when I feel like it, I'll throw a third game into the mix during that week or whatever, or for however long it takes. Honestly, I would give it a couple hours at least before you switch games in the middle of a stream. Like maybe 2 or 3 at the most. You're gonna be losing viewers regardless. Like, some people are only there to, like, they're looking through a game directory, they want to see that game, and that's all they're gonna watch. So if you switch to something else, you're gonna lose them, and that's totally fine. Some of those people will stay because they see that you're a good streamer, and they'll just watch whatever. It's really, don't worry about losing viewers too much or anything like that. It's not really worth it. As far as playing different games during the week, that's kind of what I like to do. I'd rather stick to one game that day, and then if I'm feeling something else, I'll play it the next day. Just kind of mix it up during the week a little bit. I don't like to mix up an actual like single stream. I mean, I only have 3 hours, so it's a little bit different for me. Maybe if you have like an 8 or 9 hour stream, maybe you can change it up and have a little bit better success than I've seen. I don't know, Snoop.
So to touch on the midstream changes, the best thing I've read from variety streamers. So I'm a big numbers guy, and I say it all the time. Do not look at numbers if you're going to look at them and they will have a negative impact on you, because it'll just be a detriment. But if you can look at numbers analytically and say, all right, so like this past Wednesday, I had a lower CCU than the rest of the week. So I look into why. I'll watch my VOD from that stream, or I'll watch and look at what I played in comparison, whatever, and see what I did differently to see maybe why it dropped. It could just be an off night, could just be nobody was around, whatever the case is. But from what I've read in my experience on my longer streams, because much like Vel, I only do 3 or 4 hours during the week, and then on my off nights, I'll probably do 6 or 7. The first 4 hours of your stream, if you play a main game, should be that main game. And then about 4 hours in, if you decide you want to play something else, you can swap. And you're going to see a decline in your numbers. Without a doubt. You are absolutely going to see a decline because, like Vel said, there are people that just want to see the game. They don't care who's playing it. They just want to see gameplay of it. And some people would rather watch gameplay of a smaller person or somebody that's at a certain point, depending on what kind of game it is, anything like that. So you're going to lose people, in a sense. But you're also opening the door now 4 hours into A, play what you want to play, and B, you're in a new category. You could possibly, first of all, so let's say you're at 40 viewers and you're playing Overwatch. All right, bang, bang, whatever. 4 hours in, you change over to something like Darkest Dungeon. Or I'm trying to think of something with even less viewership. I don't know. Something really low in the category because Darkest Dungeon's been up there lately. Now you're at the top of the category as soon as you go into it. And you may have people with 25 viewers, 10 viewers, whatever. So now when people open that up, you're top of the category from your Overwatch numbers for probably the first 10 minutes before people either leave or realize they're lurking or whatever the case may be. So that you have a 10-minute window to be able to drag people in saying, oh, this guy's top of the category. He's got to be funny. This guy's top of the category. He's got to know what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And you have that amount of time to convert people into viewers. And I saw Cooley wrote in the chat, comes from my community, and a couple others here like Lit and our newest Miss Fatal Kisses. He says people are going to watch their favorite games unless they love the stream. I have had people come in who have had a heart attack when I've changed games that have come back. And they will sit there and they will... I do have like one or two that comes in every time and they're like, when's Horizon Zero Dawn going to get played again? And I'm like, never, because it's the worst made game control-wise that I've ever seen. The bindings make no sense. Great game, beautiful. The story is phenomenal. The bindings are horrible and made me want to smash the controller. But that's not the point. Lately, I've been doing day by day, though, to get on the other end of it. Mm-hmm. I've also been a disaster when it comes to variety streaming lately because I can't land on something that I want to continuously play right now, and it's a problem for me. Thankfully, I think my community likes me, but
that's good
because I managed to still have the viewers. But I also Father Marin hit the nail on the head. I was just about to say that 80% of my stream is talking and not games. Which is true. I'm very bad at gameplay. And what I mean is not so much the games, which I'm also bad at that, but I'm bad at not doing this.
No,
I talk constantly. My first hour of my stream is all in talk. I use talk shows instead of IRL. A little tip for everybody.
Interesting.
Because technically anything could be a talk show anytime you're talking. So get at me, Twitch TOS. But IRL is saturated with trolls and ASMR. So when you stream to talk shows in the beginning of your stream, you tend to bring in I've actually had a few podcasts come in and actually stay as we've sat and BS'd and then watched gameplay. And I found a couple interesting podcasts. Interesting is a good word.
Interesting. Hopefully this one is interesting to people. No, that's a really cool topic though, I think. In terms of like, what is the perfect number of hours to stream something and then switch to something else? And then I like what you said a lot there, Snoop, in terms of like, there's a trade-off to make in terms of like, maybe ideally, you should be streaming one game all the time, but like at the same time, you have to consider your own mental health and whether you can actually stomach that. And then would you actually be better as a streamer if you switch games midstream, even though, theoretically, like you might lose viewers, you might actually be more entertaining in the long run. So it's important things to consider. But Gamer Dad, can I help you out?
Yeah, well, I mean, just to kind of respond to what Snoop and Veli were saying, I've kind of felt like, I'm in creative, so I change what I'm painting day to day. I don't change the title, but that's a whole different can of worms. Talk about the creative title. But I've seen like gaining some regularity with your streamers. There's a couple of other people I watch that I know that if I go on Tuesday and check this one streamer out, I know exactly what to expect them playing. And if I don't feel like watching the game that they play on Friday, I can just tune into someone else versus jumping in and going, which game is Veli playing today? Like, is he in Ion or is he in Fortnite or is he screaming at people in CSGO?
So
it doesn't happen anymore.
Do you think it can actually work in your favor to not have as distinctive days, basically, is what you're saying?
No, I think it actually does work in your favor to have a distinctive day. Like, Snoop was saying your regular game, start up your stream with your regular game. I always know that if I'm gonna go find Snoop, I've got somebody with a whole bunch of different masks on throughout the course of a stream, and they're doing a whole bunch of chatting and hanging out, so I know what to look forward to in that stream. Or Veli, I can always see playing Battle Royale games. I know that I can jump in and see that content, versus if I were to go find some random other streamer, I don't know what they're doing. There's a couple people I follow. I'm like, what are you even doing today? I don't know what to find out, so I might not be as inclined to go in there. Versus I'm in the mood to hang out with Snoop doing this, or I'm in the mood to hang out with Veli playing Battle Royale games, talking to his community.
Sure.
So the consistency feels like it helps.
Sure, but at the same time, what you just said is that Snoop's doing the same thing every day, whereas like, let's say Veli, you think he might do a few different things, but you're not sure, so you go in the stream to check. Like maybe that could actually work in your favor, because you just said like sometimes if streamer is going to be playing this game on Monday and this game on Friday every week, you just don't come out with the Monday streams and only come for Friday. But if you do a lot of different things, maybe you come out to all the streams to see what they're playing, and maybe you still leave eventually, but maybe that actually works out in your favor. So
well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's viewer that in that case it's viewer preference, right? I mean, with these two, you've got they've built a community. So to be completely honest, I mean, I gave Veli as a bad example because it doesn't matter what Veli's playing, he's got the community viewership that everybody wants to be there with Veli, and same thing with Snoop. This other content streamer, I don't necessarily care for some of the content that's out there unless it's the specific days. So I guess I was looking at more of both sides of it. My preference is to know what to. I guess it's more of what to expect as opposed to what's the game. Versus when it comes to defining content, like Battle Royale could be a content to me, so I know that I'm always getting that out of Veli. You know what I mean? But like if I was saying if Veli were to change games, play 3 or 4 games on the same day, it's might be harder for me to keep up, especially for viewers who can't always stare at the same stream all the time. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to kind of get everybody's thoughts on changing it up and how to change it up, because I've been thinking about dabbling in a little bit of variety.
Sure. Well,
I think you're in a special place though with variety. You're in a much harder water to tread than I am, because I'm just people know that they're going to come into my stream and see me talk for the first hour. That's a guarantee. Anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. I don't shut up and we bullshit in the chat, and that's what we do. But people know that they're going to see some sort of gameplay, even if it's only for an hour by the time I actually do something. But they know they're going to see gameplay. People come into your stream and they think they're going to see creative. So I think I always find it tougher for you guys because you're so boxed into a category. It's almost, I feel like it's even harder for you because Tim the Tatman, for example, he played Overwatch. He built his community in COD, and don't get me wrong, he was a branded streamer before he even pushed into Overwatch. But Overwatch is what blew his channel up, even more so than, where it was. To the point where he went from 3,000 viewers to 10,000 plus. And then he switched. And people still go in there and harass that man about not playing Overwatch. So I think it's kind of like that for creative, I feel like. I mean, again, I'm not a creative streamer, but just from what I've seen is you're going to take that significant group of people coming in to watch you paint, and they're going to be like, what is happening?
Although, like, in that same instance, like, it paid off for Tim. I mean, yes, he still gets people who come in there, but ultimately that's a minority now by a long shot. And his channel size is, like, doubled or tripled since then. So,
for sure.
It's all about a plan, in my opinion, for that.
Yeah. I would just say, like, don't let the fact that some viewers might complain stop you from doing something if you really want to do it, because not everyone knows best, basically.
If it's something that you truly want to do, then you have to do it. Because if it's something that like sincerely makes sense to you, it's going to make sense to your stream, to your community, to your brand, and everything. If you're doing something just because someone's like, "Hey, you should go try this game out," might not make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Does that help, man?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the question. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you.
Bye, Gibber.
Love you.
Love you, Valley. Bye, Snoop.
Bye.
All right, thanks for the question, GamerNet, as always. So Presmayal in the chat has a good question. It's very generic. I want to get from you guys. It said, how to be interesting to watch. So what are like some general tips for maybe like a very new streamer, guys? Let's say like someone who's never streamed before. What are some general tips on like, I want to make sure I'm interesting as a streamer. What are like the key things I have to know? What do you think, Vel? Maybe some thoughts on that one?
I mean, neither do I, but
yeah, I mean, but like honestly, like to this day, I don't think I'm interesting as a streamer. But it's one of those things where like the only thing I know that I can do is be myself, and I know that I can be the loudest, most energetic, and hopefully entertaining version of myself. So like, I'm the same as I am on stream as I am off stream, like I've said before, and people know this. This is like a common thing. But I'm much louder, much more just personified. Not personified, but like I basically plug myself into an amplifier when I'm on stream. You know what I mean? Like it's just me, just way fucking louder. And I'm just trying to just be myself, just louder, entertaining. I'm just trying to like get things pumped up and going, and just trying to have a good time with people and play some video games and just have fun. That's really the best advice that I can give you. Just be yourself, but just be the craziest version of yourself. Snoop?
I mean, I'm kind of on the same page with Vel you get the same person in person as you do on stream, just maybe a little less,
jazz handsy.
Yeah, exactly. Spirit fingers are not coming out on the street.
You don't wear the light up bow tie.
This is actually what I wear to work every day. But, no, I mean, obviously, I'm super, as I like to call it, branded. I have a lot of stuff that if I showed up on stream without it, people would be very confused. Like Gamer Dad came in here earlier and he was like, "Oh, are we going to get a face reveal?" And I always joke that I'm going to start a Patreon and I'm just going to put a selfie on it without glasses. And charge like $50 for it because why not? But I went into more, but this is the True channel, so we're going to be nice. But seriously, it's just you gotta be comfortable. So when I go back and I look at I always say that I started streaming in December because that's when I started seriously doing it. I set a schedule. I started actually putting the time and the effort in. But before that, I used to stream offshoot here and there. You would see my numbers would be all over the place. I'd stream 12 hours one day and then 0 for a month. I was so uncomfortable being on camera. So uncomfortable. Now there's two schools of thought. You don't necessarily need a camera to even start streaming. You need a microphone. You need a decent microphone, or at least know how to use your filters and OBS. Yeah. That is my hugest pet peeve with a stream, and there's a lot of people, I mean, to the point where even the OBS filters, now that I've been doing this for so long, are driving me insane, and I want to go out and buy hardware to make it perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
But, it's, you got to be, my biggest thing is interaction. If I come into a channel and you are staring at your screen like this, playing your game, and fine, if I come in and I see you in like an intense firefight in like Ion or, what the hell's the other game? Fortnite, then I can understand it. But if you're now looting or healing and you're completely out of the danger zone and you're still just staring at your screen and you're not looking over and there's 10 people talking to you, I'm going to like you even less. If there's nobody talking to you, I can mildly understand it because as a new streamer, I remember it took me a long time to get in the habit of looking back at the chat. It's still to this day tough to keep up, especially when you have a very active chat. But I think having an active chat isn't nearly as hard as having no chat.
Absolutely.
When you're the guy on stream with just you and the bot, talk to yourself. Commentate your gameplay. Everybody knows what you're doing, but when you're making jokes about what you're doing, like when you fall off the building in Fortnite, or the stairs don't build the right way, or you're falling down an Ion and the gun doesn't reload because you're stupid and you forgot to hit R, make a comment about it. Just talk. You have 10 to 15 seconds tops, in my opinion, when somebody comes into your stream to engage them. So you need to treat every 10 to 15 seconds on your stream as somebody new is in there, because by the time your view count and your list of people updates, they're gone.
Yep, it's true. They have a very short window to grab them.
It's not so much to be interesting, is about your personality, and don't. So me and Vel are very upbeat and hyped up all the time. you don't have to be that way. And I feel like a lot of, people, I've had people call themselves introverts. They'll be like, oh, well, kind of an introvert. I don't feel comfortable being out there like that.
Right.
I just like to chill out, play games, and talk. Then do that. There are plenty of people on Twitch who are not amped up and hyper all the time, that are in the top of the top. I mean, look at Admiral Baru. I never say his name right, who I love his emotes, but he's not crazy. He's not amped up. He's very chill. He talks, and that's it.
Yep.
So just, you got to be yourself. If you're forcing yourself to be a certain way every day, unless you know for a fact you can keep that up and you're a Dr. Disrespect, or, another character streamer that does character streaming every day and has come to terms with the fact that they are going to be able to do that every day. Listen to the last podcast.
Yep.
You gotta be comfortable getting on here every day. And if you're not having fun anymore, then you gotta really ask what you're doing it for.
Yeah. And being interactive is such a key component of that, because that is what Twitch is all about. I think that's one thing that new streamers definitely have to work on over time, because like you said, like, you have a very short window to grab someone when they come in. Even if they're not saying anything, just still trying to be interactive with those people. That is, like, I think the most important thing to learn as a new streamer. And that really is sort of you being interesting at the end of the day. So, yeah. Great question, Mayal. Hopefully that helped you, my dude. We had a question in the Discord. This was from ClickSticks. Always has some real good questions. He said, how do you feel about the use of GIFs, sound effects, and replays during a stream? Do you believe it overstimulates the viewer or adds to the hype? So what do you guys think of replays, or not, I guess basically just sort of like extras for a stream? So you've seen like on-stream GIFs, sound effects, replays, like enhancements for a stream basically. You guys use these or do you not like them? What are your opinions on them?
I think they're a big problem. I don't know about you guys, but they apparently don't work well. No, seriously. I have so much of this in my channel, and it is such a huge part of my channel. Sorry, Val, I had it queued up. I had to take that part.
Dude, that's all you, man.
It was perfectly set up. But
yeah.
Seriously, like, I mean, I have a lot going on in my channel, and I couldn't do it without Streamlabs chatbot. Seriously, like, I love Stream Elements bot and stuff like that, and it's a great standalone, easy to set up when you're new bot. But chatbot has so much you can do with it. And like last night, I was off last night from stream, and I sat at my computer again until 4 a.m. just adding new sound effects. I added probably 15 new sound effects to my channel.
Wow.
But so there's a theory in my head, and I'm going to see how it works out. So I have a list of sound effects that you can play in my channel, and I have a list of GIFs that you can play in my channel. The new sound effects I've added, I'm not putting in a list. The idea behind it is that I want people that are there on a regular basis to be able to learn these commands, and
that's cool,
without having some kind of reference point. So if you're not there all the time, and then all of a sudden you hear one of my commands and you're like, well, I didn't see that on the list, I'm going to explain to you that, I have regulars here. I announce what they are. Sometimes I have people play them so they can check them out. And, people in the chat will show people new commands. And I also, and this is, again, a stolen idea, steal ideas, chat, because they're great. Turn them into your own. Don't be a complete, plagiarist. But there's one of the most recently new partnered streamers that I've become close with that does this. He will reward points for well-timed sound effects, and points in his channel, much like mine, will earn you either games or gift cards or something like that. Huh. So if I feel like I'm playing something and you drop a well-timed, so in his channel, he plays a lot of Dark Souls, or did, and he has a "you're gonna die" sound effect, and if it hits perfect time where like he rolls and gets killed by a boss and it's like "you're gonna die," or just before he dies, he'll give like 100 points, which is enough to boost you up. It's pretty cool stuff.
Great.
You can, if you use it well. If you abuse it and it's foolish, then don't, and make sure it's something you can hear every day, all the time, and not get sick of as the streamer. And cooldowns are key.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea.
The more you expand and the more people you get, the longer your cooldowns are going to become.
Makes sense. Yeah, I could see people abusing that too, if like there's not even paying attention to the context, but it's using the commands all the time. That could be annoying.
Yeah, there has to be like a rhyme and a reason for everything. Like, you can't just add a bunch of commands and stuff and like just think that, oh, people are going to use these. Like, it has to make sense for your brand and your channel. Like, for Snoop is a little bit easier because he's like he's already established that he does that on the stream. Like that's a huge part of his branding. Like if I were to go and add like half the stuff that he has just randomly, it wouldn't make any sense. So you need to make sure like you're like I have a few like smalls that I can queue on my thing for certain situations. But I don't go and add a bunch of them just because I think people are gonna love them, like because it doesn't always make sense for everybody's channel.
Right. Yeah. You just have some that people have the option of using basically, or you have the option of using basically.
Right.
And the other thing I'll say is be careful of the voice stuff. Now, I use it to a very small extent because talking in reverb like this can get very annoying.
Right.
But I do it when people come into my channel. I give my whole spiel about, joining the revolution, so on and so forth. And then when I thank them for enjoying or ask them to please enjoy their freedom while they're here, I do it with the auto-tune on. Just because it adds that little extra pop towards the end of my whole thing, and I zoom the camera in really close on my face. But again, it's all a brand thing, and this is what people expect in your channel. There's twofold reason why I still do it the way I do it is people expect it now that are established community members,
right?
And I have had people are mind blown the way my follow stuff goes, and which I hate, and I cannot wait for them to integrate. I have to control that from my phone. My lights, all of my lights are controlled from my phone. So every time I get a follow, I have to cue it on my phone.
Wow.
So but again, it's a lot of don't let it be to the point where it's annoying. So like Doc said, cooldowns are super important because everybody in your chat is going to like something, especially if they enjoy it. Like you'll see people in the chat right now are dropping my commands for my GIFs. But they will get old and annoying if they're played every minute.
Yeah.
And people will not only will you get tired of it, but your community's not going to want to hear it. It's going to be spam and it's going to be annoying and it's going to take away from the reason that it's there.
Right. Yeah. I think that's really important. And I think this stuff's really cool if you're, especially as a small streamer. Like I think as you get bigger, this could potentially like even spiral out of control, especially with like cooldowns or, I just get the sense that like this kind of thing doesn't appeal to everyone. Like some people don't want special over the top like sound effects or alert gifts. They just want to see the gameplay or they just want to see you. So I could see this being like more risky as you grow, but when you start, it's a cool way to kind of make you stand out and let you have things that not every other small streamer has.
Yeah. So like the guy that I mentioned who uses a lot of this stuff, his CCU has gone up dramatically since he got partnered, but he's at about 200 on a consistent basis now from 80 when he started like not when he started, but when I started watching him like 2 or 3 months ago before he got partnered.
Right.
He has the only thing he has done is dramatically increased his cooldowns because it's such a part of his channel and his brand that it's something that won't go away. But he also has a very good community. And if you set boundaries, I mean, once you're at 10,000, 15,000 viewers, you're beat. You're going to have to turn it off or something. You're going to have to figure it out. Global cooldown is going to have to be an hour for every command.
Yeah.
But your community is a big part of that. You got to know if you have a bunch of people who you allow your community to, I don't want to say I don't allow my community to run wild. They're just good. You know what I mean? I've banned, doing this for 7 months almost, I've banned maybe 5 people out of my chat. It is very, very hard to get me to ban you. You have to be either a horrible troll or a blatant racist to get banned in my channel. Otherwise, I mean, I'm
pretty much the same way.
I deal with trolls a lot differently than a lot of people because I more so find entertainment value and it actually provides me content.
Yeah.
But
turn it around.
It's just one of those things. It's all in how you implement it and how you police it.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you for the question, Click Sticks. Good one as always. You have a second question we'll get to in a bit. I do want to once again just remind people, if you're watching now, it's been about an hour. So I just want to remind you that you can ask your own question about streaming, anything related to streaming you'd like to ask. You can do so in the Twitch chat by typing @GreenChord so I see it, or you can join our Discord, which I will repost right now, and you can actually come on the show and chat with us in audio.
No way.
It's crazy. I know, right? Revolutionary concept for this show. And we got one person
I'm not here
do
to
it.
call in today.
Yeah. Well, if you want to do that, you can do that through the Discord in the waiting room, and that lets you jump the queue and get to the top of the line. So just throw that out there. We did have a question from the real guy Wise right now in the chat who said, I'm a trucker and I recently started streaming, but I can only stream mobile and I'm having issues with getting viewers and finding things to stream. as right now I can only stream PUBG Mobile and it occasionally crashes my tablet. Is there anything I can do without getting a computer or laptop? Wow. So this is such a unique scenario. But do you guys know any mobile streamers possibly that do it pretty well? Or
that there are some out there. I don't know anything about mobile streaming as far as like aside from like I'm in a car, with my phone mounted.
Right.
So that's it. Like, and it's just my camera. That's all I know. Yeah, I don't. Snoop, do you know anything?
Well, GI Toes is a great example, but I feel like this guy's asking a little more gameplay related than wanting to stream what he does. I mean, GI Toes is incredible. First of all, how that man's not partnered is
right. Yeah. But by the way, real guy, if you can tell us like whether you want to do IRL stuff or you just want to do gaming stuff mobile, that'll help. But Snoop, continue.
So it's so funny that this question comes up because yesterday in the Discord, the True Discord, there was somebody that joined who started talking about a streaming platform for mobile gaming. And it does only mobile gaming, and I believe it's Asia-based, but it has a huge American following from what he was saying.
Interesting.
It's very new. It's called Omelet.
I think I was talking to the same person.
Yeah, I forget his name now, but he has like 54,000 followers, and he plays PUBG Mobile.
I was talking to this guy as well.
Now, again, I don't know what the monetization is or how any of that works. I don't know anything about the platform, but I know there is mobile-specific platforms out there, and I believe you can download it right to your phone. You can do everything from your phone. I believe. Again, I haven't really looked into it. Supposedly, they're integrating some OBS aspect from what the guy was saying yesterday.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very unique thing, and I don't see a lot of it on Twitch. Then again, the other day we were browsing categories, me and Lit, as we were talking, and we found somebody streaming Clash of Clans for 1,200 viewers. So every once in a while, you question what you're doing on Twitch.
Now, there's plenty of that though. Like with other mobile game streams, like they get popular. A lot of people are playing them at sitting at a desk at home or something on a computer, but you could still do it just on your phone if you wanted to, for sure.
Yeah. I don't really know. I have never tried to screen cap and stream from my phone. I don't really know how it works. So, I mean, all the power to you. But it's like anything else. I mean, I could stream putting cardboard boxes together. It's all about finding your niche, finding your community, and being interactive. If you're interactive, you're not going to hold the highest viewer count in the world, obviously putting pizza boxes together. But you're going to get some people to hang out in there and talk to you, especially if you find a way to make that entertaining. I mean, I watch a guy called Bajo Streams, who's an Australian streamer who's partnered, but 90% of his streams is him filling out cards that he sends out to his subs and talking, but he's got like 20 cameras set up through his house and does all these weird green screen actions when people sub and follow and donate and stuff. And it's the most absurd thing in the world, but him doing such a mundane task as filling out something that he's going to send out to his subs is probably one of the most entertaining things I've ever watched.
That's funny.
So it's not so much I want to say that Twitch is honestly 80% you and 20% what you're doing.
That's fair. I think
that's what I think, at least if I was looking at it from a percentage. But again, that's personal on my end, where what I'm looking for from a streamer over somebody else.
Yeah, it sounds like he said he's not trying to do IRL stuff, so he is really focusing on the gaming. It's so tricky because I think getting a laptop would make a world of difference for you, to be honest. Like that's just going to give you so much more access to stuff. If you can't have a laptop, you can't have a computer, and it's just a tablet, I would say your best bet is maybe to find like a more optimized game. I know PUBG Mobile is actually surprisingly well optimized, but there's probably like even better games that aren't going to crash your tablet and you can still stream. And I don't know anyone who's just built a stream off of a phone. Like I can't think of a single streamer who's just never used a laptop or went through a period where they didn't use a laptop and just use a phone specifically for gaming, because people do that for IRL, I'm sure, but I've never seen like someone who just streams mobile gaming all the time. But maybe that can work in your favor. So
the app, by the way, is called Omelet Arcade, if that guy's interested.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, so check that out. Real guy, maybe that'll help you, hopefully. But really cool question, and I'm sorry that we can't give you like super specific advice because it's such a unique scenario. But that might work out in your favor because maybe you're the only guy who built a stream off of just the phone. It'd be kind of interesting. So
good luck, man.
I appreciate it. So Jack, the streaming snack, always a cool dude, is in the voice chat. Let's pull him in really quickly. Jack, you there, my friend? How are you? You are muted right now, just so you know, if you can hear me.
Jack.
Jackie. Hello.
Never let go, Jack.
Never let go.
Never let go.
Weird. I'm not sure. Oh, there you are. How's it going, Jack?
Hey, what's up? What's going on, Green?
Not too much, man. What did you want to talk about on the show today?
So I've got a question about the extensions within Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
You get a total of 6, from what I understand. 3 panels, 2 components, and 1 overlay. And I was wondering, kind of going into the mobile streaming, 50% of my viewers are either going off the iOS app or the Android app on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your guys' personal favorites as far as extensions within Twitch were, and what were just your guys' favorites on that subject?
Sure. So basically, our favorite extensions, and kind of how extensions play into mobile users as well. That's your question.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So maybe we'll start with Vel. Do you have like some favorite extensions? And then also, like I know you've played Clone Drone before. How do you kind of deal with viewers who can only watch on mobile and can't really interact with extensions as easily? So two parts there.
I don't really have too many extensions that I use. I think I use like a schedule one for my panels, and that's pretty much it. Or maybe it's a bit leaderboard or something. But as far as like for Clone Drone, that one for mobile users, I think they can type a command in there, and it'll spawn enemies in there that you can fight against. But aside from the Clone Drone scenario and then the few extensions that I use in my panels, I don't really use extensions too much, to be honest.
Really? Okay. Not even. Yeah. So you have a schedule one, you said, but do you have any like overlay, like a Streamlabs thing, or
I don't use any overlay extensions.
Gotcha. So it's just the schedule one, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's not even the schedule one. It's just the what is it? The bit leaderboard, I think is what it is. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
And then just for Clone Drone, that's all I've really ever used.
Have you noticed a lot of value out of the bits leaderboard one?
Some people, because they like to see where they're at. Like some of the top cheerers will be like, oh, I thought I was supposed to be here or whatever, but nothing serious. It's just something mostly for them.
Gotcha. Snoop man, what overlay or what extensions are you a big fan of?
All right, so this is a dangerous road, especially now, because if they're not properly placed, they block your entire screen. So that the game where you slide the things and as you miss, they get smaller and smaller. I can't remember what it's called, but now it's an extension that you can play over the video. Well, I watched somebody put it in the overlay slot instead of the component slot the other day. Well, guess what that does? That blocks the entire center of your screen, almost 3/4 of it. And he didn't realize that because you don't see that. You don't see it when you're on, your dashboard. You don't see the extension popping up over everything. So I'd be very careful, and I would test out extensions. I think there is room for it to be beneficial. I use the schedule one from Stream Elements, just so this way, because it's easier than me typing out a schedule, and I don't have anything typed on my thing, so I try to keep it that way.
Sure.
Just to be uniform. I use Stream Avatars. Now, Stream Avatars is, for those of you that don't know, it's like all the little sprite characters that run around on the bottom of your screen or the top, wherever you put it. But it's an overlay. It allows your viewers to pick sprite overlays, and they can earn money to buy them if you set it up that way. But the extension makes it easy to pick. Now, you brought up mobile. The best part about the new Twitch app, at least on Android, I'm assuming it's the same on iOS, is so when people join, I tell them how to change. So you can either go down to the panel, you have to authorize it, or if you're on mobile, you can click the puzzle piece underneath your video.
Go ahead. You muted.
Underneath your video, and it allows you to access extensions from mobile now, which is huge because your mobile viewers used to not be able to do it. So you had to find a way, if you had extensions specifically like that one, you had to find a way to be able to do it through chat commands, which is a huge pain. Especially like Stream Avatars is a whole separate bot you have to add to your channel, and it's just a nightmare. As for overlay stuff, I only use the Prime one. The only reason I suggest the Prime one to people is you could have a new viewer that comes in, doesn't realize that their Prime is up. All of a sudden, They come into your stream, they like what they're seeing, they look up and, oh, I have an available Prime sub, and it's right on your video. Little monetization.
Yeah, that one is actually very useful. Even though it's so simple and like you feel like everyone just kind of knows, you'd be surprised how many people just do not know about Twitch Prime. Still, after like all the memes, all the time people have been promoting it, people still don't know what the heck Twitch Prime is. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sellout days, exactly, Father. But no, seriously, the extensions are hit or miss. Test out and see what your community likes. I use the bit leaderboard just like Vel because I have a lot of big bit donators and they like to fight each other. So it's good to give them a platform to look like, hey, you know, I'm awesome.
Yeah,
and allow them to have that extra recognition. But
that's also nice because you can see below third place and like maybe you're the fourth place person and you want to kind of like get up to that third spot. I could see some benefit to that. So cool. Well, Jack, does that kind of give you some answers there? Any questions or anything?
It definitely answers a few questions that I had. Every time, and I kind of do the same thing every time I put in a new component, new overlay, I go into my stream and test the placement, so I definitely agree with that point. Sorry, guys. Work, man.
It's all right.
Are you in a shelter?
That phone call in.
It's all good.
Older man, so I'm here at the plant, so getting the phone call.
Good, man.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it kind of answered my questions, man. I kind of wrote down the few extensions that you guys listed, so I'll take a look into those. And I just thank you so
Sure,
much
dude.
for the call.
And they should tell you if they work with mobile. Most of them will tell you
should.
if they work with mobile.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've tried to go over to mobile extensions only just because, like I said, 50% of my viewer base is on a mobile application.
Right. Most people probably are these days, to be honest. So, all right, dude. Thank you for the question. I really appreciate it, and thanks for calling in at work. That's awesome. So,
have a good one.
Have a good day at work,
Snoop,
dude.
you guys have a good day, man.
all right, you too.
brother.
See ya. All right.
Sounds like
More
Fallout
calls
Shelter.
like that, yeah, guys.
It sounded like War of the Worlds.
Really into it, the role playing today with all the Fallout gameplay recently. So, awesome. Thanks for the question again, dude. Guys, calls are open if you want to join. I saw a few questions coming in here. We had, I think Mail had another question. Yeah, so this is another kind of simple one, but a cool one that I want to get from you guys. So he said, what stream software do you guys use and why? Because now there's a few different options. So I'm curious to see what each of you use and why you use it. So Snoop, want to start with that one?
So I'm an OBS fanboy. Always have been. I love OBS because of the fact that I'm familiar with it for the most part. But recently, this past week actually, I tried to use Slobs. Streamlabs OBS is great in a lot of ways, especially if you're new.
Yep.
Because everything is there at your fingertips. They make everything easy and streamlined, and it's great. I had a lot of issues with display capture and audio for some reason. I was getting audio stutters and display capture, so of course my instant reaction was to just revert back to OBS because I know it works. I have a lot less problems with OBS. With that being said, I'm also not I wish Streamlabs OBS was around when I started doing this because learning OBS and certain things in OBS is so difficult. And the other reason I like OBS over Streamlabs is that there's the ability to do, I'm going to call them add-ons, but I feel like that's the wrong name. But there's different scripts or programs or whatever you want to call them that you can add into OBS to do certain things for your stream. So like So for me, for those of you that haven't watched my streams, I do an intermission video instead of just a plain be right back stream. So if I get up to do something, I'll play a video, and it's a short video, 1 to 2 minutes long, of me doing some kind of skit or yelling at somebody on a phone that's not there. But, you know, I look like a crazy person to anybody else in the world. But after that 2 minutes, what my problem I was finding was I was afraid I wasn't going to be back in time, and then people were going to be staring at a black screen because... Well, so originally I had the video play over the scene that was my Be Right Back, and the video would play and then it would go to the Be Right Back screen. The problem with that is audio sources. So I couldn't play music because it would play over the video. So I had to create a separate scene for the video without a desktop audio capture and then play music, but I still had the issue with changing. So there's a extension for OBS that allows you to change from one scene to another after a certain amount of time. So it's called advanced scene switcher, I think, or something like
Yeah.
that. But the long and short of it is I play my Be Right Back video on that advanced scene. If that scene is queued after X amount of seconds, it swaps over to my Be Right Back, which allows me to play the music, play the video, and get up all at the same time. So I'm not wasting time waiting to click over. That was my one big thing of the reasons that I didn't transition over to Streamlabs OBS. That and my GIFs. For some reason, Streamlabs OBS, if you lock a scene or a source rather in a certain size, it doesn't matter. It doesn't keep it that size.
Yep.
So like the other day I changed one of my game resolutions from 1920 to whatever 1440, and it completely messed up my whole screen. Where OBS, if I lock it at full screen on OBS, it is locked at full screen on OBS the whole time. It doesn't matter if it's this big or this big. It will stretch it to fit it. So, I mean, if you're new, I slobs all day, but I use OBS personally. And I went on a whole rant to tell you that one simple thing.
No, that's good. Like to hear all the context there. Vel, how about you, dude? What do you use?
I started with OBS, and I love OBS. I switched over to slobs only because it kind of saves on processing power a little bit. So I use Streamlabs alerts anyway, and so using slobs, it kind of uses less processing power because it's all integrated and everything. It doesn't have to, just it's magic, whatever. But since I have a lower end processor right now, I decided to switch to that. And just kind of save up a little bit so that the stream could run a little bit better. Just kind of sacrificing a couple things to do that. So that's the only reason why I use slobs. It is super easy. Everything's integrated really well, and it uses a little bit less processing power if you're using the alerts from Streamlabs already anyway. But when I get this new processor, I'll probably be switching back to OBS just because it's not going to matter as much because I do like OBS a lot more.
Gotcha. I've heard mixed things about like whether slobs actually reduces your CPU usage or not. Sometimes it's
I did
the
not
opposite.
find that.
Gotcha.
I found it was more. I found
Really?
it stressed my system more than OBS does. But I also NVEC, so I don't know if that made a difference with slobs. I go through my card because I have a 1080 Ti, so I have the extra oomph. And unfortunately, as great as the 7700K is, it sucks for encoding. You can encode all day as long as you don't do anything else.
Right.
So, I mean, hindsight, Ryzen. I can't
That's what I'm
stress it
getting,
enough,
man.
Ryzen.
Soon.
I wish I could go back and redo it, but
Next week.
New egg. Everyone's saying new egg in the chat.
Oh my god. I've been cursing out Newegg all week because my parts were supposed to be here already. And so every time I die, I'm like, Newegg! Oh my god.
Oh, their fault. Oh man.
Yep, it is. It is.
I actually moved over to slobs. Well, actually, I use OBS for anything I stream on the True channel and slobs for anything on my personal channel, just to like make life easier. I really like slobs personally, just because it's all in one window and it's really nice. But there are some weird, unintuitive things with it, or like it's not quite at OBS level yet with some things, where like cropping things doesn't work in in slobs. It randomly gets like some frame drops that I didn't have in OBS, and so that kind of sucks. But I just love the intuitiveness of it at the end of the day, how easy it is to add stuff, how clean it looks, how it's all in one window. So I go for that, but I think they're both fantastic. So yeah, if you're starting slobs, like Snoop said, is a very good way to just like plug and go. You like click one button and you can stream.
Built-in overlays, everything. First of all, it sets up all your server stuff. It tests your computer to check your bit rate and what you should be streaming at. It does everything for you in that sense, which is great. There's some stuff you still have to set up, but the overlays are killer for somebody brand new who doesn't have anything. It is so amazing, and like I said, I so wish it was a thing when I started. I mean, hindsight being 2020 now, obviously it doesn't benefit me as much, but at the time, I'm so jealous that I'm almost jealous of people starting now because there's so many advantages. And I'm sure people that started a year ago say the same thing about when I started and so on and so forth, but it's crazy how much it's grown in the past 6 months alone. And there's the one other one that Broman always promotes. He's like a certified tester. It's called Bebo, I think.
Oh, I've seen that, I think.
It's an all-in-one service.
Then, of course, there's that XSplit thing.
Yeah, XSplit's trash.
I think XSplit's actually fine, but I just don't like it. So
It's not fine. It's trash, Chad. I said it. I'm sticking by it. Green's being good. I'm not.
who would pay money?
Bebo, though, from what I understand, it's all in one, and they don't take any money off the top for tips, and there's no way to get chargebacks.
It's nice.
So it's interesting, but you have to do everything through them. Overlays, alerts, the whole 9 yards. It's an all-in-one system, but I think it forces you to be all-in-one. Don't quote me. I'm not positive. But it's definitely another avenue to look at. There's a lot of new softwares coming out.
Yeah, it's nice. So hopefully that helped you out, Mayal. Thanks for the question again. Love those questions. So Lightweight Land heard a question in the chat. He said, so you think it is more important to just get the stream running or to try and create a better overlay? I know people say to just get started, but new viewers see a trash overlay or even quality and might leave before they even witness you or your gameplay. I'm a perfectionist, so I have found myself becoming locked into creating overlays and alerts. So yeah, this is a great question. How do you guys kind of balance, maybe for like a very new streamer, where's the line between like preparing to make sure you have a stream that you're proud of versus like waiting too long and really just needing to start and see what happens? Where do you guys kind of fall on that spectrum? Like, is there a perfect line, or is it just go and like doesn't matter, just go? What do you think, Vel?
It was just go. Like I had I've got a free overlay that I found on like some video. Somebody made a video on YouTube of them making an overlay, and then you were able to download it for free. So I used that. Didn't put too much time into it or anything. Like obviously you want to make it look decent, but like you shouldn't be putting a bunch of time into making something look perfect. Especially right off the bat, because nothing's going to be perfect on your stream. You're going to have so many other issues aside from your overlay. It's insane, man. When I first started streaming, there'd be multiple days. I had a Blue Yeti microphone, and it worked really well for the most part, but on some days, it would just do like this static sound that I would not be able to tell, and like nobody talks to you about these things when they pop into your stream, man. Green, do you remember these? Like way back in the day, man? You just be like, dude.
Yeah, back in the day, Vel had this mic, and for no discernible reason, it would suddenly cut out and just sound like a hurricane had swept through his house and just like completely blow his audio. I'm cracking up thinking about it.
And it was so loud and totally stream ruining, like just not even worth having. So you could be putting all this time into making a legit overlay, but you could be having mic issues that you'll never know about, because no one's going to even give you the 2 seconds to type that out in your chat, because they know when you're a beginning streamer that they can just go to anybody else and they're not going to have to even put up with it. So there's just, it's got to be a well-rounded kind of thing where like nothing's got to be perfect, but it's all got to be at least decent.
Yeah.
And you just got to kind of take the time, a little bit of time out of your day with each individual thing, especially when you're starting out. And you just, those certain things that you want to progress will over time.
I totally agree. Snoop, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. Push content, always push content. When you're starting, nobody cares what your overlay looks like. And I'm not saying it to be mean, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't put some kind of an effort into it. But I mean, when I started, my overlays were, yeah, I cringe just thinking about it. But seriously, you mentioned quality. Now, there, I'll agree with you. You need to make sure that you have enough to be able to put out a decent quality stream. So when I say quality, like Vel's mentioned, the mic stuff, the audio stuff, if I come into your stream as a brand new streamer and it sounds like a whirlwind hurricane, no, I'm not going to take the time to tell you. I'm going to leave.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
As you should.
Yeah, exactly. Because my whole thing when I look at that is that you haven't prepared. And yes, while I realize that you didn't know what was going on, whatever, but I mean, will I maybe give you the heads up now? Now doing this for so long, I'm thinking from when I was a viewer, not so much now where I have like a different appreciation for what it takes to do this.
Right.
But when I was a viewer, I can tell you that if your audio was bad, I'd leave. If your stream was pixelated because you were either pushing too high of a bitrate and your system couldn't handle it, or before they introduced encoding options to others other than partner, you know, if you have a connection where you can stream at a 6K bit rate, good for you. That's great. Guess what? 90% of people can't watch a 6K bit rate.
Yeah.
And that's the problem so now you're 720/60, but your stream is a pixelated mess for me because you decided to stream at a 6K bit rate. I mean, I even kind of push it at 4K or 3500, knowing full well that I shouldn't. But I have an obsession with quality, and that's my problem. But That's my obsession and an issue where I think that if I drop lower than 3,500, it's going to be a problem, which I know it's not, but it's something in my head, and that's beyond the point. The whole thing is it's push content and push quality before you worry about extra stuff like overlays. And the other thing, like I've talked about it before, and I know Green and Veli have touched on it. Your overlays, the longer you do this, go from like my overlay used to look like what we have here, except I was doing gameplay.
Yeah.
And now there's like nothing on my screen, and that's intentional. You want your gameplay and you to be the main focus. Mm-hmm. People, I could put, I don't even know, little fluffy unicorns on my overlay, and people wouldn't care. People aren't there to see my overlay. I mean, they would definitely comment if I put fluffy unicorns, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. This topic is really, I love this topic because it's one that I've kind of dealt with myself too in the past. You're never going to get to the point where like you feel like everything is perfect. Mm-hmm. You're even like as a streamer who's already started, like you're constantly making changes to your overlay, branding, whatever, like webcam, audio, everything. You're never going to get there to be perfect. So don't wait to get there to start, because the most important thing is to stream at the end of the day. Doesn't matter how good it is. Like you see people who have just the work. Like I'm talking like even the video and the gameplay, it's just awful. Like you can't even see. Did you ever see T-Pain stream, guys, when he was streaming? No. T-Pain was streaming from a hotel room playing Overwatch at like a 500 bit rate with like the worst mic you've ever heard in the world, and he had 20,000 people watching him. Now, of course, he's T-Pain, but the point there is that it doesn't really matter what your stream looks like as much as what you're giving people. Now, of course, quality matters on this stuff. That's not to say like it does not matter at all. But it's much more important to just, at the end of the day, make sure you're streaming and providing content, like these guys said, because that's what the platform's about. So don't like let the fear of perfection stop you from starting at all, because it's better to do something than to do nothing. So that's my soapbox on that one.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, I'm a little bit of a stickler for quality, but that's just me personally. But to go on your overlay thing, man, go.
Yeah.
And honestly, like you're at the point where you can focus more on quality now. You know what I mean? Like you have a community of people behind you, and like you've been doing this for a while. Like everything is kind of like well-rounded enough to where you can start focusing on like, oh, okay, like maybe I need to focus on a little bit better PC parts, or maybe I can focus on my overlay a little bit more because everything else is fine. So now it's like the time where you're slowly progressing certain things, and more and more.
Right. Absolutely. But it's a really good question, so I appreciate that one. I just think that is like one of the best topics for any starting streamer, because you'll always get stuck in that trap.
100%.
So, if anybody else has a question in the Twitch chat, make sure you just re-ask it if I missed it, and tag GreenChord so I see it in bright red. Because I think I've gotten all of them, but I sometimes miss some. So if I miss your question, just re-ask it and we'll get to it. I think that is actually most of the questions as far as I can tell. We had one question, actually. It was not even to us, but I kind of want to jump on it. So Day Old Toast asked a little bit. He said, any opinion on audio mastering or compression? So I'm curious if you guys use like any, Snoop talked about audio filters and OBS. What do you guys use in terms of like audio enhancements for your streams?
Oh, I use a lot.
All right,
I mean, so you called me an audiophile, which I'm not as bad as some of our others, White Shadow and Shady.
GreenChord.
Yeah, a little bit. But seriously, I came from, much like Vel, I started with a Blue Yeti. It's a great mic. It's a great starter mic. Everybody should pick up a Blue Yeti because they're cheap, they're affordable, and they work well.
Unless it sounds like a hurricane.
But you can make a Blue Yeti go from $100 mic to a $2,000 setup with audio filters, no BS, and that's no joke. I run 2 compressors, noise suppression, and oh my god, what's the other one? Noise suppression and noise something. Oh, now I gotta open up
gate.
Yes, noise gate.
Gotcha.
Thank you. So my 2 compressors are because I'm loud as shit and I yell a lot, and I don't want to deafen people. I also run compressors on my desktop audio capture and a few of the videos I run, because there's audio spikes sometimes in some of the videos, and it helps even that out. And the desktop is great because how many people here have opened up a game that's new and it is on 5 billion noise level for no reason. And
Well-
your whole chat is deaf if they're wearing headphones.
Real quickly, so those three things, let's like quickly explain those people who don't know what they are or like what the purpose of them is. So noise gate, first of all, I think that one's really important. Do you want to?
So noise gate, or another term you'll hear audiophiles use, is your noise floor. So now, even in Discord, like Green mentioned before, that I was cutting out because my noise gate was too high. So how it works is essentially at a certain decibel range, your mic will open and activate, and it will pick up what you're saying. And depending on your mic, it might pick up a ton of background noise too. But there's also noise suppressors that you can use to counteract that as well. So if you're a guy in an apartment, you want what they call a, oh my God, correct me. It's not condenser. What's the other mic?
Dynamic?
Yes. You want a dynamic mic because it's only going to pick up the direct on, where mine is a condenser. So I could talk from anywhere and we can all hear me the same. But your noise floor is huge because there's a lot of ambient noise in an office, especially like, I mean, Green is in an office building with other offices and other people doing stuff outside. There's a chance that if he didn't have these kind of things set up, I'd be able to hear somebody walking by his office or a door shut 3 doors down. You know what I mean? Shady touches on this all the time because his apartment building, you hear everything. So not only is he on a dynamic mic, but he's got several filters to make sure that it's just his audio going out.
Yep.
Your noise suppression is just simply that. It just, if you have a lot of echo or background noise, so you ever turn on like a stream and you just hear ooh while people are streaming, that's your noise suppression. That's just background noise. Or your gain, if you have to turn your gain up on your mic, you can counteract that with noise suppression. Compressor though is, especially for me or like somebody like Vel, we yell a lot, and if I have a compressor on it, I could yell as loud as humanly possible, and you are only going to hear it at a certain level. So it's huge. And the reason I have 2 compressors is one is a limiter and one is a compressor. So the limiter is to make sure that it doesn't spike over a certain range, and it's an extra safety. And then the compressor itself is just to keep it within a certain range so that I don't ever go too high, even gradually. But
Blow
the
your
limiter is
eardrums.
the limiter is for high spikes. So like if I'm talking just like this out of nowhere and then I get killed and I scream, you won't hear that as a scream. You'll hear it, but you're not going to hear it to the point where your eardrums are blown out if you have headphones.
It'll compress the signal a little bit and not make it as sharp in your ear, basically. Yeah. So Vel, use any sort of audio stuff on your end?
Noise gate and compressor. I just actually added the compressor today because I realized that I never added it to slobs after switching from OBS. So just added a compressor today. I've had a noise gate on there for a while, but I need to mess with audio settings a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
So I know my mic can sound a little bit better than what it does.
Yeah, the only other that's the other thing with slobs, by the way, everybody, if you make the transition and it copies all this stuff over for you, which is awesome, it does not copy your audio filters. I don't know why, but it's something they didn't implement. So you have to reset all your audio filters. Otherwise, you're going to be wherever you were. And I mean, I mentioned hardware. That's something you can go into later, but there is ways to do everything I just described with hardware, and it makes it sound crisper and cleaner. And the reason I say that is you won't notice it unless you're somebody like me or Green who really, really pays attention to audio. On my stream, it is the most faint thing in the world, and you have to have your volume maxed. But when my noise gate opens, there's a slight little almost, and I'm talking almost indiscernible. You can't even hear it, but because I'm a lunatic. And that's because it's the software, catching up and opening, where you can set a noise floor on what they call a voice channel, where I could snap my finger all the way back by my wall or right next to the mic, and it will sound exactly the same. It will keep my noise level exactly the same no matter where I am, as long as the mic's in an area where it can pick me up and it has enough phantom power to power it to make it extend that range.
Yeah. So basically, if you're looking for audio enhancements and you don't know where to start, those 3 are great places to start in terms of noise gate, noise suppression if you have a very noisy area. The difference between those 2, by the way, noise gate just cuts out anything at all between a certain threshold. So like if you have a dog walking around, if you have something in the background, if it's under like this level of volume, it does not get heard. If it's over that level of volume, it gets heard. That's really nice. Noise suppression just kind of mutes anything like that the mic thinks is background noise. And then compressor is really good for anything that if you're a very loud person like these guys are, it'll help you kind of not blow your ears or your viewers' eardrums out. So the big 3 to start with there. But thank you for that question, man. I appreciate that one. We're going to get to Diebear, who's in the chat right now.
Ooh.
So welcome back. Diebear, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Happy to have you on the show. How are you?
Thank you.
What do you want to talk about today?
So I have an easy question, but I promised I'd call in if I had one. So
there you go.
So I was playing the free Twitch Prime games the other day, and I got to the second game, and I went to change the game title, and it didn't exist. You know how, like, if you play Overwatch, you start typing Overwatch, and then you have to select it from a drop-down?
Yep.
This game did not exist. So I wasn't able to update the game title. So what do you do in that situation?
Okay, can I just preface this by saying this is hilarious that it's a Twitch Prime game and they don't have it on their directory.
Ironic.
But yeah, this happens all the time. So I don't know if you guys have had the experience with playing a weird game that's not on Twitch. By chance, have you ever had that happen to you?
Is it an indie game? So now it's kind of like you got to flesh out a little more on your end.
Okay.
As the creator, just because it'll help you decide. So go ahead.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to find it, but yeah, go ahead and keep talking, and I'll figure out what the game title
So
is.
essentially, like let's say it's an indie game. There is a whole indie gaming category that you can choose, or if it's an older game, you can go to retro gaming. I mean, there is some options for games that aren't listed on Twitch, and I don't have the website off the top of my head, and I would have to do a little Google dive in to find it because it wasn't the easiest to find. But there is a website where you can submit games that are supposed to be in Twitch categories, and it's got a fairly decent turnaround time, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
It only usually takes a couple days. They just have to verify that it's an actual game and it's not banned by Twitch.
Okay, that's good to know. It's a terrible game. It's Twinkle Star Sprites.
There you go.
Terrible games and Twitch Prime free games? What?
Well, I actually found a
stream
really
on
good game, and I had a bunch of people come and view it because it was really fascinating and beautiful. So there are good games in it too. I had to go through 3 games to find the good one.
I can tell you, I would have streamed under My Little Pony with that name, but that's just me.
Yeah, there's some options there. I mean, you can do IRL because that is just everything in the world. Or you can, like, I've done like similar games in the past where like maybe you're playing something in a series and like you're playing a very old version that is just not there. You can play like a similar category that's like a Sonic game or something. You're playing some like random off Sonic game. You pick another Sonic game that's sort of similar. So
Okay.
Yeah, like Dark Souls is a good example of that. There is no category for Dark Souls Remastered. It's just Dark Souls. So even if you're some hardcore purist who only wants to see the, original Dark Souls game, you gotta search through that entire category because there's no way to differentiate the two, even though it's technically 2 separate games.
Mm-hmm.
But IRL is always great for that. Me personally, I would just make your camera a little bigger if you have a camera, just because then you could make the argument, oh, I was talking and playing the game in the background, or something like that. I mean, Soda Poppin does it all the time on Sundays. He plays some dumb game in 3/4 of his window's his camera while he does his sellout Sunday, but this way he can play whatever he wants and still be in IRL. So there's little tips and tricks to it. I don't think anybody's gonna. I can't imagine Twitch coming after you unless you're grossly miscategorizing it.
yeah.
If you're streaming to Fortnite and playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, then it's gonna be a problem.
Somebody used to do that all the time. Like, or maybe they just switched. Like, they would start the stream with like My Little Pony and then switch to something else. And you'd look at like the top games on Twitch, and it was like League, Dota, My Little Pony. It was like 40,000 people are playing this game.
Oh yeah, that's a great troll. If I ever got, it was Lyric. Of course, it was Lyric.
Yeah.
I love Lyric. But seriously, if I ever get big time, I swear to God, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna start like Barbie's Playland as my starter game, so that it ends up at the top of the category.
Fun fact: one of the best streams I ever did was mooching off of that. I got like second in the directory in Barbie's Little Princess. Yeah, it was a great time. But
Oh my god.
anyway. Thank you for the question. I hope that was helpful to you in some way. I really appreciate that.
It was. Thank you guys.
Sure. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. That was the very first stream I ever did, I think. It's like,
Oh, that's awesome.
dude, no one's playing this game. I'm gonna stream Little Princess game. Sure, I'll do it for the views. Sell out my soul, dude.
Oh my god.
All right, so we had a question up here from the Real Guy Wise. He said, generally, just promoting tips. And so I tried to have him like narrow down a little bit. He narrowed it down to Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Discord. So for someone like the base level of promoting, who's never done it before, wants to know where to start, what tips do you guys have for just using social media in general to help promote?
Well, don't ask me about Facebook because I hate everything about it. But I mean, I'm very active on Twitter, so I try to dedicate an hour a day to Twitter interaction. And what I mean by that is obviously, you know, I tweet out my stuff, whether it be my stream or talking about upcoming streams. I also, and this is just a personal preference, some people find it a different way, I do not get personal on my Twitter. I don't complain on my Twitter. I very rarely will put anything out on my Twitter that's, I don't want to say negative because I never tweet anything negative. But like even the other night, I was talking about my stream Wednesday, and I was sick, and I apologized because it was kind of a lackluster, you know, blah stream, and I was like, you know, obviously I don't want to put that kind of content out. So I do get personal Father's DMs. But I go through especially my community members and people that follow me that I interact with, and I see what they're tweeting and stuff like that. And, you know, I'll tweet back and forth with people. The other day, I got into it with the MeSeek spot on Twitter, which was actually really funny. But they had posted some dumb question, like right or left. That's all they put. And I had responded, are we talking about direction or Twix? Then Twix responded with the, you know, emote. And then we got back and forth with Twix about sponsorship somehow. They brought up like sponsorship with Twix, asking them for a sponsorship. And then I made fun of them with a GIF, at which point they took it very unhappily and started yelling at me via GIFs. And we went back and forth for a little while, which was funny. And then somehow Mixer got involved, and Mixer started talking to us about it. So it was just, you can have a lot of fun just screwing around, but really get your name out there. I mean, I think I gained like 25 follows off going back and forth with Twix, Mixer, and MeSeek spot. I mean, I've gone back and forth with the Discord social media people before. I mean, it's funny. It's such a huge platform still. I mean, obviously Facebook's the biggest platform, hands down. But to grow a following on a Facebook page, I don't know the trick to it. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. Discord, I try to be active in Discord. I said right, I believe, because I'm right-handed. Yes, I went right. Edible, I switched Twix. So, but with Discord, I mean, first of all, my Discord's disgusting because I'm an emote. I can't think of the word that I want to say that's okay on stream. I'm a hoe. I'm an emo hoe. So I collect Discord, so I have emotes because I have Discord Nitro, so I can just put them anywhere. But it's funny because I interact in probably like 4 or 5 Discords, and I try to be on there as much as I can. Look at Doc, do it. Oh man. So Discord, again, it's regular interaction. It's nice because you don't have to be hyped up to promote yourself. You can just socialize, and people, I mean, I love my community. I love talking to my community on and off stream, and I don't know if everybody's like that, but it's literally majority of my day, other than my wife, the people I talk to the most are within my community. So it's so simple to do, and I feel like a lot of people slack in it is network. And I know you said promoting yourself, but promoting is networking, in my opinion. You know, grant you on Twitch, like I make my videos and stuff like that, my intermission videos that I play, so that promote the channel in a sense of, I've been rated like 2 or 3 times when I've run those videos. Like Dream Trip rated me the other night, and I felt like such an idiot because it was probably like 30 seconds into the video. So people coming in have no idea what's going on. It's just some guy in an American flag bandana yelling on a phone at some guy named Pete that doesn't exist. So I had to come back. I had to stop the video and I try to explain it really quick. And I was like, all right, I'll be right back. This is what was actually happening. I'm so sorry. But again, it's such a good way to promote on social media, but you got to build it first. I can't tell you how many times I used to tweet when I first started at every retweet and hashtag bot, and let me tell you who looks at those. Absolutely no one. I have never gotten a single view or interaction from one of those retweet bots. Yep. I'm very selective with my hashtags now. I don't use them a lot. Twitter, I will say GIFs. Always have a GIF, and I know it sounds annoying and dumb, but it gets the most interaction and the most traction. Green has a different opinion, but
I think unpopular opinion. I think GIFs are way overused, especially in streaming stuff. And I think actually images can be more powerful than GIFs sometimes. But
well, yes,
that's
I
my
agree.
say.
Images. It has to have some kind of content other than words, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
100%.
Because one, it'll make it stand out, and two, the analytics for some reason show you that you get 50% more interaction with a photo or a GIF than you would on just straight text. But you got to build that following first, and the way to build that following to promote your channel is to network.
Absolutely. Vel, any promoting tips on your end or things that have worked really well for you?
I do all my promoting or networking or whatever I call it through Twitch, and then that's how I build my community. And then I just use social media as a way for people who maybe don't have their notifications on. They can follow me on Instagram. I always post when I'm going to be live there, except for today because that was bad. But because I haven't really, I've gotten a few follow media. I haven't really time in like Snoop has to build a following on any social media platform. But I have gotten a few followers on my Twitch channel from social media. But like I said, I do all my promotions or networking through Twitch itself and connecting with other streamers through their streams.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, like Snoop said, like networking is the best form of promoting. And not the thing is the best networking is not like artificial networking, like a formula. It's just literally just making friends, which is what we always talk about on the show. But like you have two options, right? You could just like put out a base like non-personal tweet or something, or post in a Discord or something, just hitting everyone, come watch this, and like maybe you get one person to come watch who has no idea about anything that you do, and it's very service level. Or you spend all your time, all that time that you would spend doing that on one person, getting to really know them and like guaranteeing that they'll come out and watch your stream. And that I think is a much better use of your time to network and promote yourself. So that's what I'd say to that one. But
yeah, I dedicate a whole night now to networking on Twitch and going to be able to hang out in streams that I've either been supported by or that I support and that I enjoy. And it's tough for me because of my work schedule and my stream schedule and my sleep schedule and my wife's schedule, that it's hard. It's very hard to get into streams, and I hate it, to be honest, because I used to be such a great viewer. Now I'm such a bad one. But I mean, it comes with the territory of it. So I've actually cut out an entire night now. I do it on Saturday into Sunday. I take that entire night. I don't even work on stream assets, maybe a little bit in the background, but I literally just hang out in streams with people that I enjoy, and I BS and I talk, and you know, I even when I get home from work, I get home around midnight and I start at 12:30. And that half hour I try to pop into at least a few streams of people that I know and just say what's up and hang out for a little bit, and then I just lurk and I leave their streams up to support the channels and stuff like that, and then I go do my thing. But the networking is just the relationships I've made off like-minded streamers, and I like to say that a lot because it's very easy for you to raid like I can't even think of a random streamer like Toast or the guy that plays Hearthstone. I can raid a 10,000 viewer channel, and I might even get to interact with the guy a little bit if his alerts are on or something, but my community is not going to enjoy Hearthstone. You know what I mean? I have made it a personal thing that if I'm going to raid you, it is my personal guarantee that most of you in my channel will enjoy it. And it's somebody that I personally would watch. I'm never going to raid somebody just because they raided me or they hosted me. I appreciate it, and I say it all the time. You know, I appreciate everybody that comes in and everybody that hangs out and everybody that raids, and, you know, big streamer, small streamer, it doesn't matter. But I won't send my viewers over to somebody I don't think our contents mesh, because it's not going to be a good experience for either person. Because my viewers I love, but they are very outspoken, and they make it very clear when they don't like something. And I don't want to raid somebody, send 25 people over to somebody, and then have them negatively impact that person's stream.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to someone either. Just because our contents don't mesh doesn't make them not a good streamer. It's just I don't feel that kind of promotion is helpful. I feel it's detrimental to both sides.
For sure.
For sure.
Awesome. Thanks for the question, dude. Guys, I have one more great question to give you for the end of the show because we're about to wrap up here. Again, from Jack the Streaming Snack. He says, on the opposite end of the spectrum, what is your worst memory or experience on Twitch, if you don't mind talking about it? That's sort of an interesting question because we always talk about what's your favorite moment. So maybe like what's one moment that, or maybe like not necessarily just like terrible and awful, but like something that you learned a big lesson from, or a lower point of your streaming career or something. Anything to think with that topic? Anything come to mind?
That's such a loaded question. It's tough because I'm not going to sit here and say I've never had a negative experience on the platform, but it's never been anything where I'm like, it sticks out in my head like, oh my God, I can't believe that ever happened. I think the most negative experiences I've had streaming was when I was newer and streaming with certain other people. And I say that more so because it's not, first of all, you got to learn to separate your IRL gaming friends from streaming gaming.
Oh
I say that for a reason. And it's not even so much they may like say something out of line or anything like that. It's just, it's tough to stream with people that don't stream because they don't get it. They don't get that you're also providing a service and a content while you're live, and it's extremely hard to do with somebody that doesn't do it, because like me and Vel were actually just talking about this the other day. But it's hugely problematic if you're streaming and the people you're with either don't shut up or consistently talk over you.
Yeah.
And it's great. Banter provides great content to an extent. But if it's constant and they don't stop, and I have a lot of friends in real life who are much like me, and we love to break stones. It's what we do. But there's a time and a place. And we'll go all day back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm not going to do that on stream. Nobody wants to watch that. It's entertaining for 5 seconds and then it's boring. And like, I even apologized to Vel the other day. I was off stream and he was streaming. And I caught myself, this is the downside to streamers, out of habit, I was reading his chat. And I would reply to people before he would on certain things. And I'm like, oh, wait. I'm like, no, I got to stop doing that. And I literally had to minimize his stream because I was like, it's not my place. It's not my stream. Your people that you're playing with should not be replying to your chat. Even if the question is directed at them. Vel should read that question to me if he wants me to respond to his chat. It shouldn't be me generically responding to it. And that's a big problem. And that is always my most negative experience, is streaming with other people that you're not comfortable with streaming yet. I tell people all the time, like, people ask me, oh, do you want to co-stream? Do you want to play together? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And I'll be like, listen, we can maybe, if it's somebody that I think might be, I'll try to play offline first and see how we get along, because it's very obvious when there's tension, and it's very obvious when you're starting to get annoyed by things.
Right.
And you don't want that to come across on stream. At least I don't. I don't want that to be something that's seen. So that's easily my most negative experience, has always been with other people. Right.
Kind of taking over the stream, basically.
Yeah.
Other people.
Right.
Yeah. Val, how about you, dude?
I mean, I've done the same thing where, like, I'll be in someone's, or I'll be playing a video game with someone, and I don't like, this is something that like every streamer needs to realize, because like reading someone else's chat is so easy to do. So easy, and like you'll catch yourself, man, I like shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something that everybody's got to work on. But as far as like moments where I was like, maybe like worst streaming experience, maybe, I don't know, like, okay, so this week, so I got raided by a partnered streamer, and I was still trying to mess around with the settings for Islands of Nine for streaming, because it's hard on my current PC, and so I hadn't messed with the settings enough before I started the stream, and I got raided, and the quality just wasn't what it should have been. Like, I got raided, was playing terribly because my frame rate was like horrible in game. Every time I get in a firefight, I drop frames, so I'd either over or under aim, and I'd just be getting killed all the time. And I was raging internally, like there was a fire burning in me. I was like, legit, like, I was happy I got raided. I was happy I had people chat to talk to and everything. Always happy to be streaming, but the fact that I was like being held back by my own setup was tilting me. So it kind of taught me that like you need to make sure your stuff's good all the time, because if you get raided by someone, like I'm not saying like every time you get raided by someone it should be a successful experience, because you get raided by someone, you're not going to get a single follower. That happens all the time. That's totally fine. But you always need to be prepared for anything, like anything all the time. Like I should have had that stuff unlocked before I started that stream. You know, and then because like after the stream or after the hype had died down from the raid and everything, I started messing with settings a little bit more, and then I was playing well. I'm like, well, this isn't the fucking time to be doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I was on fire after that, and I was like, this would have been perfect when I had over 100 people in here.
Oh my gosh!
So
yeah,
always be on your game. Settings always on point all the time.
As much, yeah. That's the problem with live stream, though, is you can never have it all perfect, like we said, and there's gonna be hiccups and stuff that happen.
There's gonna be, but just, if you can minimize them anyway.
I do always try to make failures like that entertaining, at least, because
there you go.
Oh, I was so mad.
Vel, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love when you rage because it's hysterical. I know, obviously you don't like it, but
I don't, man.
It provides good content.
It's like when I play scary games. Like people like watching that. Yeah. I hate playing scary games. It was
still
my
favorite.
Dude, for the views, man.
My favorite clip. Like even to promo and networking. Just to touch on that, I added a new thing to my bot that people can do with the events. It's actually really, really cool. It's totally a little off topic, but the long and short, you can have your bot trigger something when somebody talks in your chat, and Veli's playing scary games is what reminded me. So Velok's one of them that comes in if he was to type in my chat. So it doesn't call out lurkers because that's huge. Don't do it on people joining. Do it on chat. But you can set it up to where it says, you know, whatever you type, and then I post one of the most popular clips from somebody's channel. And Vel, if I'm not mistaken, I used the clip of you playing, oh my god, what the hell, Subnautica. When you were fighting the little dangly dragon thing with a knife.
Dangly dragon thing.
But that's a great way to promo your community and streamers that you support. It's a great way to show support to other streamers. So as soon as they type in your chat, they get a whole little block spiel, at least in my channel, where it describes them, talks about, you know, how I think they're awesome or whatever. And then if you want to check them out, here's an awesome clip, and it's bang, whatever. I pulled top clips, and like Closing Door hates the clip I used for him, so he texted here. He's supposed to send me one at a DM. I will change most of them. Some of them I won't, like Susie's. But
gotcha. Well, so those are some cool examples of, you know, everybody's got some sort of hiccup or something in the stream that has backfired. This is really hard for me to think of one. The best thing I can think of off the top of my head is this is more just like a fail, and like I think this is where these are funny answers, but. When we went to ECGC to unveil True Streaming, and we had like hundreds of people in the chat. I accidentally like flashed everything before we announced it, and like I don't know if anybody saw it, but I was like, "What did I just do?" So that was a really funny moment. I don't think if people saw it, they didn't mention it, which is good. But like I had a mini panic attack in that moment. So anyway, so it is 1:00, which means it's been 2 hours, and that is the end of this week's Phone Friday. If you guys had a question that we didn't get to, you can always join the Discord and ask us there, or DM us, message us. We all respond to all that kind of stuff. So feel free to reach out if you have questions, and we'll be back on next week to answer this stuff too. SnoopHog, thank you so much for coming on the show, my dude. Where can people find you?
SnoopHogTV on everything.
All of it.
Everything. Twitch, Twitter, social media, discord.io/SnoopHogTV. I mean, it's everywhere. It's all my only name. I did it on purpose.
That's smart. Might say that's a good idea. Velok, where can people find you, dude?
Right here. That's hitting it right. I don't know. Somewhere around here. Velok_TV. Instagram. Or that's also on Twitter. Instagram I'm probably going to be changing soon. That's I am Velok. But you can catch me at those places. And right here on Fridays.
Awesome, dude. I'm going to pull up the link for the show.
We're not next to each other though, so it doesn't work.
No, it works. Trust me, it works, dude.
Yeah, you gotta do like up and down, like to the side. I think that's the best way.
Now I just look like I'm claw hand. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, well, so this has been Stream Key, guys. I thank you all for coming out and watching. If you'd like to watch more episodes, we have like 45 now or something, which is crazy. You can go listen to those now on Spreaker. It's also on Spotify, which is really exciting. So if you guys like Spotify, you can find podcasts on Spotify now. Pretty cool.
That's cool.
So yeah, guys, we'll see you next week for more of this. But for now, we're gonna switch back over to the main True channel. Doc is gonna be taking over with some more Skyrim. So hope you guys enjoy that, and we will see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.